Hello everyone. Today, on the next episode with Let's Talk with Sandra A, our topic of discussion is communication gaps in relationships. And I'm again humbled to have Mrs. Judith Lalonyo and Mrs. Immaculate Balmoy. Yes. You see, in relationships, most times gaps come in communication, and so many times we do not know how to handle the gaps. But on this episode, we're going to discuss these communication gaps, understand their causes, understand how they can be avoided, and we would also want to know if really it is possible for a relationship to survive amid these communication gaps. And I would love to invite Mrs. Balmoy to give us her opinion as far as communication gaps in relationships are concerned. You're welcome.
Thank you, Sandra. I believe relationships start for us to have that sharing of thoughts and feelings. And relationships actually grow best in friendship. Yeah, so I believe if people are friends, then they communicate whatever small thing in their life. Yeah, in their lives, you communicate anything, you're not afraid to say anything in a relationship. And if the time you start getting afraid to communicate certain things, you start to feel, okay, certain things are stupid to talk about, certain things are too immature, then you're going to have that void in a relationship, and before you realize someone is getting into that gap to fill that void. That's what I think.
Okay, yes, Mrs. Lalonyo, what's your opinion, your take on this issue of communication gaps in relationships?
Thank you, Sandra. I think what I can say is it's really true. That is, communication is the biggest, let me say, first of all, the most important thing. It's the core of any relationship or any friendship to survive. And at the same time, it's also the biggest challenge as relationship grows, because many times when such gaps start to come in, when there start to come such communication gaps, most time we don't know how do we go about them. Sometimes we even don't know what has caused them. Yeah. So I think it's communication. It's actually for any relationship, whether friendship, for it to stand, communication is a core.
Wow. Thank you so much. They say there is always no smoke without fire. And so maybe someone out there would want to understand what could be the possible causes of communication gaps in relationships. Judith?
Yes. There are various causes, I could say, that can bring such gaps in communication. In a relationship or friendship or in a marriage, I can say. One of the biggest causes of communication gap, in my opinion, is when there comes to be distrust. Yeah, because, for example, imagine in the time you were beginning, maybe the relationship, the friendship. You see, like she has said, in friendship, in friendship or in relationship, you want to be you, yeah? So meaning, you just need to be yourself, hide nothing about yourself, and the other person also does the same. So now, in case of like certain, distrust. You feel like, okay, I can't trust this person enough with this. I can't maybe tell him or her this. You start to hide away certain things. Or maybe for whatever reasons you could be doing so, yeah? So that is one of the reasons. If like there's distrust, maybe you think if I tell him this, you do this, so you start to keep away certain things, or you start to fear to tell certain things out. Yeah, so it brings such gaps. And there are other reasons also for communication gaps. Like I've said, the distrust is one. Fear. Sometimes people, yes, fear for disappointment or fear for someone's reaction. You'd be like, if I say this or if I tell him all this, what would they think? Yeah. So there are so many things that people fear. Yeah. Like someone would fear to be real, to be themselves. Sometimes people want to be what they are not. They don't want to expose who truly they are, or to
their partners.
Yes. Or even sometimes to friends. Starting from maybe the background where you come from, you know, about your personal life. There's a way most people, and I've discovered so many people, they live in, as in they don't live their lives. Meaning they are not true to themselves, and they don't accept it to be true to themselves. So you realize that they want to be someone that they are not.
They are not, yeah.
Like you want to appear to people in society, or maybe sometimes even just to your friends, what actually you are not. You see that? So in that way, you can't communicate freely, yeah, because you will be reserved to feel like, this one people shouldn't know this one, yeah. So those are some of the causes,
yes,
of communication gaps.
Yes. Now I want actually to bring to our attention that when we're going to look at relationships, we're going to look at courtship and marriage. So when tackling the issues of communication gaps, there's so really many causes. And to me, I think also another thing that would bring, like me personally, I would imagine, like say phone calls. You see, you text someone, they never reply, you call them, I mean, they've missed your call, but they never get back. And this is someone, say you're married to, this is someone you're relating to, and I mean, it puzzles me. But that aside, Mrs. Balmoy, what do you think are the causes of communication gaps in relationships?
Thank you, Sandra, once again. For me, the major one, I think it's perception gap. We perceive, you know, you may be speaking the same language with your spouse, but you get different meanings altogether. But you're speaking the same language. So there is always that perception gap. Imagine you call your spouse and tell them, honey, I feel today you would come back a little bit early. Yeah, just that. Before you realize, he thinks you meant, actually you yourself, what you meant is, I'm getting lonely, I do not get enough time of you. That's what you meant. Then for him, what does he perceive? She's starting to think I'm boring her, I'm a disappointment, you know. You're perceiving something differently. So always there is that big challenge. To me, it's a big challenge. And what I would say a culprit too is always thinking for someone. You don't mention something, but you want someone to think for you. Okay, that is a big challenge because there is no way. I mean, you have different backgrounds. This is someone maybe you've met at 20, they have their own history, you have your own history, you come from different cultures, but you want someone to think for you, and that is me. I know, I mean, it's very hard for someone to think what you're thinking. It's very hard. Unless if it's the Holy Spirit now working. Yeah. To me, those are the two biggest challenges. I mean, there's others, of course. Yeah, there's always that.
Okay. Now there's also this. Another people have always have been asking people, friends, and all that. Another cause to them of communication gaps in relationships. Let's say there's been a challenge of infidelity. Of course, infidelity is a topic of its own. But now, some people, to them, when someone breaks the chain of fidelity, you know, let's say you get your boyfriend, your husband, your wife cheating, and you know, this breaks trust, like she said. And once trust is broken, already that communication gap is broken. And another thing that actually some people said that I would actually seek your opinion about is let's talk about, like you said, thinking. You expect someone to think for you, someone should reason for you and all that, and then these people who money has also become a cause of communication gaps. Like you ask, hello, I need this amount of money, and then the person never picks up or tells you, I will send and I'll never send. So because you over demand, you over demand from your partner, somehow they feel, I think this lady or this guy is just money minded, and so they begin to chop the communication. So what do you really think that is true, Judith?
Like let me go back. Like I've said, there's so many causes to like those kind of gaps. Like in relationship or even in marriage, I've had some like fear, like distrust. When you're wondering, if I say this, what would they? You actually you don't trust them, how they respond and all that. Yeah. Another thing is when you see kind of such gaps in communication. Sometimes, for example, it depends on the stage of the communication. Or even immature stages, it do happen, by the way. Like I've said, communication is a core. In any relationship, for it to stand, there must be good communication. So when communication starts to go down, and one of the causes could be when the other party is offended. Sometimes someone, you see, they start to become silent. Maybe they could have been offended, they expected you to have known it.
To think for them.
Yes, but you didn't, maybe. So they'd be like, let me first also show him I can't do without him, or I can't do without her, So they start to go quiet. And sometimes they also go quiet when someone is losing interest in a relationship. You'll agree with me, whoever has broken up in a relationship, it started by the gap.
Yes.
Yeah. So meaning when someone is also losing interest in a relationship, or maybe they are seeing someone else, you see what they will start to do, they will go cold in communication. Realize like the communication, the way you used to communicate too much, talk, it goes down, it's being quenched, until when it just goes cold. You may be just saying hi, then hi, nothing more. So those are some of the causes, like when someone is already losing interest in a relationship. Yeah, but like I've said, communication is core of the relationship. So meaning, if you are still interested in a relationship that you're in, or even in a marriage, you must do all that you can to be able to communicate. Yeah, even when you're offended, your heart, this is someone you're living with, this is someone you are trusted in the beginning. You should be able to tell them point blank.
Yes.
If you've tried all other means, your sign language, maybe you've kept quiet for a while, they're not understanding you. Because that also is communication. Yes, because even keeping quiet itself is communication.
Yes.
When you see someone start to
Yes,
they're also communicating something. Yeah? But the most important thing is let someone understand what you're feeling, what you're thinking, and like just be yourself. So maybe if you're offended and you've kept it to yourself for a while, it has reached a stage like you feel like, I think this time I have to let him or her know. Get that opportunity, tell them, I didn't like this and this and this, this is me, I was so much offended by this, yes, so that if the other person can understand, they can be like, oh sorry, I didn't really know I was hurting you,
Yes.
yeah, so in that way the person will also learn that, oh, so meaning this and this and this offends him or her, yeah, something of that. That is if you're interested in letting the relationship work. But not for people when they're not interested in letting the relationship work. Sometimes, even for something which wasn't really offensive, they will be offended. They will withdraw. They will be like, because you did this, I can't anymore. I cannot, yeah. So
I just wanted to add on what Sandra had said. When it comes to the issue of demanding, at times people demand for different things. And the way you said it could be money, but in most cases, I think the biggest challenge is time.
Time, yeah.
Time is the biggest challenge because the moment we don't give enough time to our relationships, trust me, however much you try, the communication gap will always be there. Yeah, because someone expects you to be at least to give them some time off. However busy someone is, you can imagine someone calls you and you have like 5 meetings to attend in a day. A husband and the wife is calling meanwhile at home, but you're jumping from one boardroom to another. I mean, even in that corridor, you would send a text and say, you know what, honey, I'm still entering another meeting. So always, if we don't at least try to squeeze that little time that we can afford, always there will be a communication gap. By the time you return home and start explaining yourself that I had this meeting to attend, I had this to attend.
Someone won't understand.
They don't understand completely. Yeah.
So already that means I've always been thinking, you see, no matter how someone is, I mean, no matter how busy someone is, the truth is when you love someone, when you value someone, you will try as much as you can to create time for that person.
Exactly.
Yeah? But now you see, most times I think men have been a victim to this. You find a man tells you he's busy at work. You've called him in the morning, he does not pick up. In the afternoon, he does not. In the evening, he does not. The next time you hear from him, it's after 2 weeks. And then the truth is telling you, I've been busy with work, I've been having this issue to follow up, I've been chasing after this. And
There's a problem.
there's a problem somewhere, honestly. I don't know, Judith, what would you say?
It is obvious. It is obvious, like when it reaches to such an extent. Like I've said, you know, even the silence in the relationship or in the marriage, they also communicate. Yeah. So when you're married or you're in a relationship, however busy that you, like she has said, however busy you can be, or however busy you are, just telling someone that right now I'm in a meeting, it matters. Or I'll call you later, I'm busy now, it matters. Then also being able to explain afterwards when you've got the time what you were exactly doing, if you did not state it. Yeah, you know, I was busy doing this and this. That is okay. You see, in relationship, it has got a lot of accountability. Like when for example, when you get married, you become accountable to one another. Yes. So meaning, if you are this type of person, you do your things the way you want, however you want, at whatever time you want, wherever you want, things changes. Like there is someone whom you have to account for what you are doing, where, with who, and why. You see that? So meaning those are the things that we need to start to learn. For example, if you were in a meeting, tell the person you are in a meeting. If you've not been able to pick this person's call the whole day, at least you can't let the whole of that day go by. If it has gone by, maybe because your phone went off.
So you slept off. The only time I slept off.
At least after waking up, I know you will see your phone.
Absolutely.
You should be able to see that, oh, there's this and this and this missed calls. You see that? And you're able to call back. And now when you call back, you start with explaining what had happened.
But now the people who just start from where they saw the phone call.
Yes.
They start as if nothing happened, as if they never missed your call.
Which is really wrong. Meaning that is lack of accountability. We need to be accountable.
But then you don't even love that person.
You don't. The truth is, if you see someone like having too much gap, maybe for 1 week, you're trying to call, like, they seems not to be responding, 1 week has gone by, 2 weeks, you should also start to get the communication. That something is being communicated. Either this person is losing interest in the relationship, or there have been this, as in there is something that is not going on right. You can just know. You see that? So meaning, if the person is still interested in the relationship, those are the things that have to first be ironed out. Meaning you start from, As in, why all that communication gap? What is not happening right? Where? That is where you need to start from. Because no marriage, no relationship, I know, can survive without communication.
But honestly, even if it was just a friendship, you were just friends with someone, then that person communicates for 1 week, you do not respond, how do the other person feel? You of course feel hurt. So there is no way you're going to tell me in a relationship, in a marriage, that kind of setting can really, no, there is already a problem somewhere. That is already an indicator that things are not going your way.
Yeah, I know of a friend who is in a relationship, and the man keeps quiet for a month. Yeah, and then the next time he calls, he talks like he's been talking for the past 1 month, And so when this lady tries to complain or tries to bring this to table, the man becomes like, I'm not like other men. You shouldn't think that if I'm not calling you, I'm not picking up your calls, I'm doing some stuff that is opposite and all that. Me, I know I love you and there is nothing more.
Sandra, the truth is we are all born with sin. But when you are born, the way the Bible even says heaven is for children. You are born pure, okay? There is that purity. Before you realize, you start to learn certain things. Every habit that people have, they just learn them. And there is also an opportunity for you to unlearn certain things. So there is no way you're going to tell someone, I'm not like any other man. If someone is doing it right, then why don't you copy from them? That can never be an excuse, okay? By the time someone goes off for a whole month, you've not communicated. My goodness, nowadays you see even how people are doing meetings virtually, okay? You try to get away. This one now we're talking about time. Time is not there. How do you tell me there's no time for a whole month? Okay, even if we're just friends, I just got you yesterday, you gave me your contact and you called me for 1 month, you just get the idea. Someone is not interested in the friendship. They are not interested at all. And that's the signal you're sending to me.
So,
you see, like she has said, honestly, the problem is these are real issues, by the way, that people are facing, even in marriages. You see, okay, there are other people, especially men, let me say, they have this kind of, once they have married you,
they relax.
They be like, it's like taxi driver, this conductors for taxis. They, when you are still outside, they are calling. When you enter in, whether you're in a good seat or not, it doesn't matter.
You're on the inside.
He's thinking of the others, the other men who have this kind of attitude. Yes, they be like, for you, I've already married you. I carry on. Let me say it. I carry the art. No, madam, as if when you were at your home, you were sleeping outside. You were not in a house. Dear. I've now put you in a house and all this. No, you see, it is not that when you got me on the streets. I didn't have a house. I had a home. Yes. You see that? So meaning, where I have come in, you should also make it a home. It should be home enough for me, like you got me. You see that? But now that is what so many, not all, but some indeed have that kind of attitude. But the truth is, it is not proper to keep silent. You're a married man or you're a married woman. To keep silent for months, for weeks. Yeah, and you say, you have to trust me.
It even exposes your partner.
Yes.
Because you have left her or him feeling lonely. Actually, you don't know whether they've eaten or not. You don't know how you have no idea how maybe the woman has struggled to bring food to the children, and you're just there quiet. You're exposing your woman to other men, to me. You're exposing your man to other women. And before you know it, something comes out.
Exactly. You see, like, if you've not been communicating to your spouse, like for a month,
I'll ask questions.
The truth is, for those 1 month, were you not communicating to anybody else?
That is the In fact, that's the question you should answer.
If you have not been communicating to your spouse for 1 month, have you really been too busy that you couldn't get time to communicate to anybody else? That's the question. Now, if you were able to get, you might find that those are the very people, they feel like, I was very tired, in the meeting I was so busy, so I had to go relax. Now,
Let
relax.
us just end this argument. Let us just end this topic that person is not interested.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the thing. There is no any other explanation. There is no any other answer to that. That someone then communicate for a whole month. No.
So you would
No,
tell...
it could be, you see, not that they're not interested. For example, this is a man who is already married. You're married. If he's having you in the house, it is not that they're not interested.
What are they?
Let me tell you, the truth is, okay, they're having this, not that they're not interested in you, they're interested in you being there at home, taking care of his children and all that.
Then why we met? You're not interested in why we met in the first
yes,
place.
Meanwhile, like you see, this would cause us as if to go back to the other. You remember?
Yeah.
There are different motives and reasons why people marry. The other men indeed who marry, not because you met, you had very good time, you think that is the way it's going to go for the rest of the other time. No. What they're thinking what they're looking at, they have this in mind. Get a woman like they maybe very responsible enough, hardworking, who's going to take good care of the home. If I give her 2 or 3 or 4 kids, she's there with them. Now she doesn't. They will not think of, doesn't this person have maybe the needs, like for attention? Will she need my attention? Will she have this need? They become selfish. They will not mind about that for you, but for they themselves know it for sure. They are going out with other people.
That's what I'm telling you. That
So
person
they are not,
is not interested.
They are not interested
Because
in you.
in the first place where you get into a relationship is to share thoughts, feelings. Okay?
And
now,
you
if
keep
no
it
one is
quiet for
attending
one
to
man.
my feelings, what is it?
One
see,
full man.
like
What
I
is that?
said, they're interested in, okay, they you see, the truth is, especially for us, for the African man, or for like our men,
Our traditional
first of all, the way, like for me, I thank God I'm having only boys yet. I have a big task to raise them properly. So many men look at women as servants. That is inbuilt. It's so many of them in the African culture.
As companions.
Not necessarily. So many, except there are few who could have been nurtured and really taught and trained, who will understand this issue of companionship, who will understand that they have to give you their time, who will understand that they have to be there for you. They know that you could feel maybe, they will think about how you feel. Not many things like that.
Funny as even those days, the traditional men are fathers.
Yeah.
They go to dig, they know evening time is for my wife. There's no you tell me my grandfather would go maybe somewhere and they spend a month and they never think, hey, and those days there were no even actually phones.
No phones, not
but
even
at least someone
radios.
would write, at least send that letter through someone. At least you send a message through someone.
You see.
There's no way you tell me a whole month goes down the road, no one is coming,
course
no
it-
one is saying something.
The truth is, that is,
And
I'm
you see
trying to say,
Judy, with this era of WhatsApp, Facebook,
Everything.
you have texted someone on WhatsApp and it's blue ticked.
Yes,
They have
someone
read
has
your
seen.
message. They have seen, they have read,
Silent.
silent. But you will see
you see, you
online,
have to get-
last seen 3 p.m., last seen 4:30. The whole day he has been seen. But you've texted them and the message is blue ticked, but they've not responded.
that
No
is-
one, and no one is
anything.
denying. Of course, men put women in houses. Of course, you become like a steward to this whatever property is there. Okay, there's no way a man is going to come back home and the flat iron is missing. And even if you had gone to work meanwhile, the maid was home. You will answer to him. It's not the maid to answer to him. So at the end of the day, women still have those roles. They know you're put in a house maybe to take care of this property. Your
But besides
children
that,
are there. It's your role, I mean primary role, let's say. Though you go to work, you will come back and you will answer to him what happened, the baby got burnt off. There's no way you're going to just keep quiet like I was also not at home. But still amidst all this, my dear, there's no someone goes quiet for me and they're thinking, yes, I put her in the house to keep the children.
yes,
No.
That is what I'm saying. But those are the things that happen. Those are the mentalities
The
that some of
reality.
them have. Those are the realities I'm trying to communicate to you. The truth is, it is not the right
It is
thing.
not.
They have to understand that. They have to come to an understanding that women need, actually, the basic need of a woman, by the way, is affection. It's not even sex, unlike for men. It's just affection. She needs to know that you're there for her.
You have to pamper
She
me.
wants to know that
Emotional-wise.
Yes. She wants to know that she's in your mind. You're thinking about her. However busy you are, if you just say hi, I was just checking on you. I'm very busy.
It matters a lot to us.
Now, you know. She'll know that. She'll feel wow. So even us. So this busy,
busy schedules.
I am just there with him. I'm actually in this man. You see that? Yes, they need that affection. But now, not every man knows those needs of a woman. I'm telling the truth. Not every man knows those needs. Some of them, all they think is, now, since for you in the house, you're taking care of this, that is your role. For him, like some of them, they tell you want me to just be there. You think that one matters, eh? It's looking at each other's eyes. You see that? So I'm busy doing this. Yes, it could be that you're busy, but the truth is, she needs your time too.
Period.
Just like your job needs your time. Just like your other things, other schedules you're busy with needs your time. You need to create that time for her too.
Actually, you need to clear that. I was just reacting to what she said about that friend of hers who goes silent the whole month. Okay?
Keeps quiet for one full month. The next time he's calling, it is as if they've been talking all this time.
Exactly. That's what I'm telling you. The person is either interested or there is someone he's seeing that is going to take up your position very soon. The person may not be already in the picture, but it's coming to that. Exactly. That's the only explanation I have.
So I think, like she has said, if the person is not yet married, you need to think marrying that person. Think twice, because
in fact, I want to tell her to run for her dear life.
True. Because if you marry, imagine in the time of
courtship,
relationship,
when you're supposed to enjoy,
to have
you're going through this pain and stress.
When you need to know, you get to know one another more. Right? The person is already giving such kind of
signs, red lights.
So you're knowing.
Imagine if you're married, you're going to be like the one I'm trying to explain. The ones who will be like, but what have I not given you?
Sends 1 million for 1 year. Manage.
No, that would not be nice.
Wow. Now, we've understood the causes, the provision for maybe solving, or you would tell someone, when this happens, do this. Because the truth is, some people are hard. You have talked, you have quarreled, you have cried, you have knelt, you have done all sorts of things that the people seem not to change. You've said, honey, please, try to check on me. Okay, you're busy, let me do the checking. I check, you don't pick up. I text, you don't text. Sincerely, what can such a person do? So how can we solve this big milestone?
Like I said, let me go back to the beginning. So I was saying, if you see the person failing to address an issue that you brought up, of maybe a gap, and like they seem not to be interested, you just know there is, you have to know that something is not going right. You can still persist. Yeah, you can persist, try to give them some more time.
Benefits of doubt.
Yes. But if you see that they are not willing to kind of address it, you just know it can't work.
Yeah.
It can't work. You have to let it go. Because however much you can pursue whether a marriage or a relationship, if the other party is not willing to do his part, because marriage or any other relationship, it is not just one person's input to make it work. Even the other person has a role to play to make it work. Yeah. So if meaning they are not willing to play their role or their part, it means they are not willing.
They're not interested.
Yes, to let the relationship or the marriage continue. So meaning it will make that thing comes to an end. See that? So that is how important it is.
Amen.
Yeah, of course, the best way is to work on a relationship to work and make sure there is no communication there. Yeah, if it has, there is the way it has to just work. Because if it breaks, it's very hard to mend. It's very hard to mend. But for starters, I think let's be honest also. Because at the end of the day, a healthy relationship stands on that. And let us learn to listen. Give an ear. Okay? If I'm complaining about something, you don't take certain things for granted. She complains so much. Even that, you know? To me, it's hurting. It may not seem so big to you, but to me, it's an issue. So let's learn to give an ear and let us listen, okay? There is this kind of thing that someone listens and they're on their phone, they're playing games. You're talking to someone, even that face-to-face kind of thing is not there. Trust me, they're on their phones. It will never work. Let us be honest, because the truth kind of hurts, but at the end of the day it helps. You tell someone, I'm not, actually you even avoid those words because they hurt, like someone thinks you're attacking them, okay? Maybe, and if we work on this way, it would help. So if it's always a we, not you, you know, that one hurts. It kind of sounds like an attack. And maybe for the long distance relationships as well. Yeah, let us try to put some time in this relationship, because at the end of the day, even if there are opportunities for face-to-face interactions, because when it ends at emails, messages, someone is even going to misunderstand you, okay? So if it's a face-to-face kind of interaction, it really helps a lot. You kind of see how someone, maybe to what extent they are really serious. Because if you just text me, I may think, okay, maybe he just had a bad day, you know. But when you're near me, I may understand better than a message.
So I think conclusively we all agree that no relationship, no courtship, no marriage can survive without communication. Yeah, I think now finally, you know, Judith, what would you say to a woman out there, to a man out there, in regards to communication gaps in relationships?
Like maybe to the married, to those who are married, irrespective of where they are, maybe they're in a state where everything is okay, they're communicating well, I would say keep it up.
Wow.
Now, to those who are having the challenges, you're going quiet on the other person, you're not communicating and all that. If you are still interested in that marriage, if you still love that relationship, you still want that woman, you still want that man, please style up. Start to talk. Start to speak out your mind. Speak out your thoughts. Speak out your feelings. As in, instead of just going quiet, speak up. What is making you do the way you do? What is not going on well with you? Yeah. Because sometimes the other person can help you. But if you're trying to avoid or you're trying to flee away from a relationship, then you're on the right track. Exactly, because eventually that is where you're going to end up.
Yeah. Yes, Immaculate.
Judith has said it all, but maybe what I would like to add on what she has said. Of course, always in relationships, there are always these gaps. At times it's really very hard to do without them. I would advise women out there, or women, men, to at times respect as well people's seasons. You know, these seasons come, and with women at times it's even more challenging, because at times someone has hit menopause, so they are in their own world. Are you going to keep shouting every day? We talk, honey, we have to talk. So at times, yeah, it may not be the same thing every day, but when it comes once in a while, let's learn to respect people's seasons, okay? Let's respect, if he's in his cave today, I think I need to give him some space.
That's his time.
Yes, let him first have that space. Maybe we can talk some other time. Yeah.
I think that works in marriage. If you try that in a relationship,
no, of course,
you're
as in what I'm exactly saying. Yeah, these things, of course, you will talk and talk and talk, but at times, there are certain times you just need to let certain things go. Because if you're going to talk about everything, my dear, I don't know what will be branded, okay? I don't know, I just don't know the name of the brand. But at times we need to respect, but as you respect someone's seasons, pray about it. At times you as human, you cannot change a human being. It takes the Holy Spirit to change someone. You will talk and talk and talk and talk. But if I respect your season, I also retrieve to my cave and I say, God, here I am, I table everything, this marriage. And also put your relationship, if it's a woman, God first, your husband comes next. It shouldn't be about me, God. No. Table them before Him. Trust me, it will work out.
Okay. Wanted to add something?
Not really that much. I think she has
Wow.
said it all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We've come to the end of our program. It's really been so good. Our topic was a good one, communication gaps in relationships, and we tackled courtship and marriages. Please drop your comments, like, share this video and stuff. We at Brown Palace Hotel for your conference, bridal shower, meetings. Want to come have a snack, please check in at Brown Palace. Till we meet again, it's been Let's Talk with Sandra A. Bye-bye.